Well, greetings. I'm Joylyn Blake, and I am the director of Skole Academy, and I am joined by my friend Christa Maldonado, who is one of our science instructors. And I asked Christa to join me so she could talk just a little bit about what it is she teaches, and then what families can expect if they took one of her courses. So, Christa, why don't you tell us, first of all, what do you teach?
Thank you, Dr. Blake. So I teach the best ages. I teach the upper elementary and the middle school ages. Upper elementary, I teach a nature study course, which kind of does a survey of all things that they need to be prepared for those middle school courses. So we do go into earth science, we go into astronomy, and we do a lot of plant and animal life so that we can get an idea of the wonder and the order, but it's gentle. It's not fact after fact after fact after fact. We have a lot of fun with that course, a lot of artistic interpretation of the assignments. I ask for a journal study every week, and some of the things that I've gotten are just so cool. Lots of creativity. And then I also teach the Navarre life science and the Navarre physical science courses. My first love is biology, but I have so much fun with physical science because it's just right outside of my comfort zone. So I have to do all this research for it so I can talk on it. And it can get the kids really, really thinking and discussing things. They like to answer questions. They have to say, we'll talk about this on Wednesday.
Oh, I love that. I mean, you spoke to two things that are so crucial to kind of the whole Scole way, and that is really the delight and the wonder piece. It was a beautiful phrase you used about the gentle approach and how art is integrated into it. And then also just that we're learners, we like to model learning right alongside with students. We don't come as the sage who has all the answers, but definitely a wise guide, which I can attest you definitely are in, guiding them in their inquiry, in their fascination. And I love the fact that you love those age groups, because that's the magic when the instructor really loves the subject and the students they're teaching. So tell me a little bit about, like, what do students love and what do students get out of, any one of your courses? Kind of what do you see and hear from students as you watch their growth in your classes?
So one of the things that one of my students particularly really enjoyed last year was I would occasionally give assignments that I asked for a creative response. And I left it wide open. However, they wanted, if they wanted to give me a video, they could take a video. I had several students to give themselves like they were the teacher and they taught the class, which was pretty cute. And then I had one that was just this amazing comic strip artist. And so she would answer whole questions, whole concepts in comic strips. So we were talking about Newton's laws, and she gave me basically a comic book about Newton's laws, and they were accurate, and it was amazing to see how much she could weave into her art.
Mm.
So
Wow. I remember getting one of your students' art. I think the topic was maybe simple machines, and then the picture of a mom pushing a baby in a stroller, and it was just so precious, like the way that they're translating it into real life experiences that they have. These are the scientific concepts they've learned. So it's beautiful to hear. You hear anything from parents about what they're seeing their child gain from the course or anything like that?
So this last year, Scole allowed parents and students to like give gratitude feedback during Teacher Appreciation Week. And the feedback that I received during that was from the kids. It was like, class has been so much fun. And from the parents, it's been, my child is so much more organized. They are excited to join class. They really enjoy the assignments. They enjoy the discussions. So it was really tickled me to have that kind of feedback because I put a lot of time and effort into preparing for the classes. And so knowing that these kids actually like what I'm doing and the parents are seeing the fruits as well has been very humbling.
Mhm. Well, I can say too, I got some feedback about a family's experience in your class, and they said, you know, Miss Maldonado has reawakened my child's love to learn. And I just thought, oh, it's so touching. I mean, you can't, it doesn't get better than that. It's just so touching. So, is there anything else you want families to know or develop an expectation of, or just anything you want to say about your courses before we go?
So I think it is important to know with a science course, there's really no way to do science if you're not doing science. So there is going to be an outside the class experience that's expected. And depending on the age, depends on what's going to be expected. So for the younger students, it's going to be a lot of observation, maybe a little bit of simple experimentation, but a lot of observation. Some of the observation will be given to them like in little videos or something like that. We listened to the sounds of birds and they got to identify the ones that they knew. That was very cool. I really enjoyed that one myself. We also identified skeletons of animals and seeing how they relate.
Yeah.
And them knowing their skeletons was also very cool to watch how many kids knew what a hippopotamus looked like underneath all of its skin. So the younger stage, the nature study, there's going to be a lot of observation based assignments. The life science kind of has mostly observation based assignments, but there's a couple of other assignments that take maybe a partner to with a stopwatch, but not a lot of interaction beyond that. There's one that taking your heart rate because we're learning about our bodies. And so understanding how the heart rate is related to exercise is important to know. And
Mhm.
then once you get into the physical science, there are a fair amount of experiments. There's 12 experiments in the book. But this year, we're going to be doing those experiments in class, but we're going to have related experiments for the students to be taking, doing to, as a follow up. So they will have to do some experiments. The cool thing about those experiments, though, is you should probably have most of the things on hand already.
Yeah. Well, I love that your courses facilitate them having a scientific disposition and view of the world around them, but without killing the wonder. It's actually cultivating the wonder in them so that they're fascinated with the world around them and you know, boredom busters. So that they're not feeling like they could ever be bored. And the last thing that I want to ask then is in terms of the frequency of the class times that they meet, are they meeting with you online every day, or what's kind of what can they expect for how frequently they meet with you and then how much they do outside of class?
So for the nature study, of course, they meet with us once a week. We go over the lesson that we kind of have that I have in mind, and we talk about the observations they can do. I kind of aim for the observation and any reading associated with that class to be about an hour outside of class time. It's more of an enrichment course. And then for the life science and the physical science class, we meet 3 times per week. And I try to limit what they do outside of class time to take up what would be those other 2 days.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
no more than 3 hours outside of class time. And I do have more flexible due dates for that. So they know a week ahead of time what's going to be expected of them that week. Um, so that they're not at the last minute saying, Mom, I have this 3 hour test that I have to do. And I don't know if I can get it done in time. I want them to be able to say, oh, I have an observation due and I have a quiz that's due. And so let me look at my calendar and put it in there so that if I do need to contact my teacher and be like, oh, I don't have time to do this observation, they have time to have an alternative or we can discuss what they could do.
Yeah. One thing that's just so beautiful that students I know come out of your classes with is like I said, the scientific knowledge, content knowledge, but then also real skills developing as a scholar, because of just the way that the assignments have tutored them in organization and responsiveness and so forth. So I'm so grateful that you're one of the Schola Academy instructors, and families, I know that you will be very blessed with a class with Miss Maldonado. Thank you for joining us today. And
Thank you.
any last words, Krista? Anything you want to add?
I've never been bored a day in my life because I love the world that we live in.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful. And you can count on students feeling that same way. All right. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.